Here, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to use a brush and the inks in a palette. I'm going to do this. This is one of my favorite in the watercolor. And I just want to do that. I don't know. Just let's hang with me and let's go for it. This is, of course, terracotta for the pot. I'm going to put it here and then I'll water it down as much as I want. What I want to do is the lighter colors or values in the pot first. And so in order to do that, I'm going to water this down. No, I'm going to alcohol it down. All right, this is just kind of giving me a little bit of an idea. And don't worry, because this is our lightest part. I can already see we are not in Kansas anymore, so this is not quite acting like watercolor, but I knew that. Okay, so there's that part. I'm going to let it dry. We'll go over here and do a little bit more on that side. Okay, we'll let that dry. And then we're going to go to the next darkest and keep working our way out. And that is dry, so let's take some more. Make this mixture a little darker. I think I made it too much. Now, I don't know if y'all can see what I'm doing over here. I've taken a little bit in this second tray or second spot and got it just a little lighter because this one is probably my next color. Now, my light's going to be here, so I'm going to work on either side of that. It is going to look blotchy, and that's okay. It's kind of the look I like to do. All right, this I'm going to do here. And just remember, make this kind of rough and just not anything smooth. If you let the alcohol evaporate a little bit out of this, it will act differently. You can actually treat it more like paint. Now I want the lip under here to be a little darker, and then I'm going to do that also with my next area that's a little darker. And then we'll put some of this, get some of that off right through here. Make this a little darker. And I'm purposely wanting it to be a jagged edge here so it wouldn't quite. And I'm going to come back to this part because you see what it's doing. And make the darker underneath the lip of the pot. But I can do that when this kind of, either let my brush sit for a second or two and let it dry a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with that. Lighten it up just a little bit so you can see better. All right, so I'm gonna work this. Next, we're gonna do some leaves, and we'll come back to this. Actually, what I want to do next is the lavender flowers. So I'm gonna take the purple. Put some in here. Then transfer some here. Lighten that up a little bit. Because I do want these dark and light. And just start doing little movements like that. Now I'm letting this sit because I do want this to be darker because it's going to put the dark in this, but I want it to be a little sharper. This is bleeding in together. And again, the drier you let your brush get, the more like paint it acts, but I don't mind it doing this. And I can already tell this is starting to get a little dry. And I don't want these to be all just, so let them turn a little bit toward that end. All right. Now what I want to do here, and that's about dried up, so let me put another little bit in here. This goes quick, but don't put a lot out and then you can play. Let that dry just a little bit because it was starting to spread. The good thing about this is how it does kind of spread out. You don't have to be exact with everything. How do they find me? All right. Okay. Now, I've got two greens that I want to use. This one is the Marabu, is that how you say it? Marabu green, olive green. Here's the botanical. I'm not sure how well these will go together. I'm going to pull up a scrap paper and see. I know, silly. Let's do this one. No, those don't go great together. Okay, the Marabu it is. And again, something like on the purple, I'm going to put some alcohol here and just transfer a little bit over here, let it be a little lighter. And just make your indication of leaves. And also what I want to do is once I spray this, I want to go over some of the purple with the leaves. Looks like their leaves aren't just all in the background. And here's some of the straight. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. I want it to thicken up just a tad. Yeah, that's acting good. Now that I have just a little bit on my brush, I want to go down here and kind of fill in some of this white, but I don't want it necessarily leaves, just something to kind of get in there. He's got my shirt. Will you quit? Sorry. Now. All right, now I want to go back and tend to this. Squirt my brush off with some alcohol. The lip up here, because I need to make that pot look like it's got a lip going across it. Put some in here. And let it get thick till it's not too thick to work with, but getting there. Still too much. I don't want it to kind of reactivate is what I don't want it to do, or I don't want it to spread. So I want to get this pretty dry. And I've got plenty on my brush, so if I just kind of wait that out. When it acts more like paint rather than the ink, that's when you want to go. And again, we're just indicating. This is the part I love the most, is you don't have to be exact. You can just indicate. Now what I'm trying to do here is go along with the side of my brush. Cover a lot of ground that way. You see how you make it's getting the little wispy look to it. We could have done that all over if we wanted. But I like that. Actually, I'm going to go back and mess this up just a little bit because those wispies don't look like the other. So I want to keep I want to keep that. So I'm going to go back and undo what I just kind of did. But keep that in mind, because if you do the whole thing like that, it's going to look awesome. Okay. One more last thing, and this is going to be the fun part. So take some of that terracotta color, and I'm going to grab up some of this purple, make it a little darker, shadowy looking. And I do kind of want it a little watery. This is going to be where your shadow, see here, this light's coming in this way and there's a shadow back here. I watered this down a little bit. I want it to look a little, just not as strong. right. I think we're done. Oh no, look what happened. Yikes. All right, ignore that. Let me fix it. Some green. Oh, there's no fixing it. Okay. Ignore that. And there it is. Hopefully that'll give you something fun to do that's different from our other type of paintings. And y'all go have fun.